Welcome to Zoe Stories. I was just modeling for her, but now I'm the face of her brand Kissmark. I never thought my life would come to this, standing in front of a ring light, wearing a red satin dress that clung to my body like it was made for me, while a camera shutter clicked over and over again. But back then, just a few weeks ago, I was just Liam, ordinary, quiet, awkward around fashion, and definitely not someone you'd ever picture in heels. At 24, I lived a predictable life. I worked remotely as a freelance graphic designer, which meant I could hide behind screens and emails, never needing to present myself in any particular way. My apartment was small, functional, and forgettable, just like me. Except for one thing.
Victoria.
She was my girlfriend, but more than that, she was the spark of everything bright in my otherwise muted world. A few years older than me, Victoria was effortlessly magnetic. She ran her own up-and-coming fashion brand, a bold fusion of retro glam and modern sass. I was in awe of her. Everyone was. Our worlds couldn't have been more different, hers filled with sequins, velvet, design sketches, and bold red lipstick, mine filled with keyboards, coffee mugs, and loneliness disguised as independence. We'd met at a pop-up art event where I was showcasing minimalist posters, and she was styling a model in a dress she had stitched the night before. She told me I had soft eyes and that I looked like someone who listens. I wasn't sure what she meant, but she kissed me anyway. And somehow, that turned into late nights together, long walks, and her slowly taking over my closet with extra racks of clothes, just for storage. I didn't mind. I loved watching her work, the way she fit fabric to mannequins and swore when she couldn't find the right shade of plum for a lipstick line she was planning to launch. She was chaotic and genius, and I was just lucky to be orbiting her. But I always had this secret, one I never even admitted to myself until Victoria came into my life. You see, sometimes late at night when I was alone, I'd look at the clothes she left around our place. Dresses on hangers, heels kicked under the coffee table, a wig or two resting on foam heads like sleeping secrets. Something in me stirred. I didn't think of it as crossdressing, not really. I just wondered, what would it feel like to wear those heels? To slide into something silky and tight-fitting? Would it feel wrong? Liberating? Terrifying? I never tried. Until the day everything changed. It was a Tuesday. Nothing special. The sky was gray, and Victoria was in one of her inspired moods. She came bursting into the apartment like a storm with a suitcase in one hand and a camera bag slung over her shoulder. "Liam, babe, don't hate me," she said, breathless, but I double-booked a shoot and lost one of my models to a last-minute flu. "Can you do me a huge favor?" I blinked at her from behind my laptop. Sure. I just need you to try on some of the new pieces so I can test the lighting and angle setups. You don't even have to show your face. We'll crop the shots later. I just need a model with your exact build." She was already tugging my hand, leading me toward the clothing rack she'd wheeled into the living room. Hanging on it were 3 outfits, one sleek jumpsuit, one pleated skirt and crop top combo, and one utterly daring crimson satin dress. I laughed nervously. "Vic, I don't think I can pull this off." She grinned, brushing my hair out of my face. "Liam, you're beautiful. You just don't know it yet." My heart did something weird then, like skipping a beat, but landing heavier than before. I hesitated. She kissed me quickly on the cheek. "Just say yes." And maybe I should have said no. Maybe I should have kept my distance from the clothes I'd secretly admired, the part of myself I wasn't ready to understand. But I didn't. I said yes. That was the first crack in the surface, the moment I stepped across the invisible line between who I was and who I might become. The first thing Victoria handed me was the red satin dress. "Start with this one," she said, pulling it from the hanger like it was armor and not fabric. "It'll catch the light perfectly." I held it up awkwardly, the spaghetti straps slipping through my fingers. It shimmered like danger. "Isn't this kind of tight?" She smirked. "It's supposed to be. That's the point. Go on, strip. I won't look." She turned around dramatically, peeking over her shoulder with mock innocence. "Very funny," I muttered. With trembling hands, I pulled off my hoodie and jeans, heart hammering in my chest like I was doing something forbidden. Victoria had seen me undress 100 times, but this was different. I was about to step into something I wasn't sure I had the right to touch. The dress slid over my skin like liquid heat. The fabric clung to my body in ways I didn't expect. Not gross or tight, just right. I reached for the zipper at the back, struggling. Victoria appeared behind me without warning. "Here," she whispered, pulling it up slowly. I felt her breath on my neck. "God, it fits you like a glove." I turned to the mirror and froze. That couldn't be me. The person staring back looked fragile and daring all at once. My narrow frame, softened by the curve of the dress. My collarbones exposed, delicate. My normally dull brown hair slightly messy from pulling the dress over my head, giving me a wild, just styled look. My face was still bare, but the illusion had already begun. Victoria clapped her hands once. "Okay, now the shoes." "You're joking," I said. She pulled a pair of red heels from under the couch. "You agreed. Don't back out now." I sat on the edge of the couch, slipping my feet in. They were tight, awkward, and elevated me in a way I wasn't used to. My balance shifted. "You're walking like a baby giraffe," she teased. "Come on, back straight. Shoulders down. Head high." I followed her instructions, stumbling a little at first, but getting the rhythm. Something inside me flipped, like a switch that had been waiting to be turned on. "Now," she said, picking up her makeup bag. "Let's see what you look like with some color." "I thought you didn't need my face?" I changed my mind. I sat down as she worked. Her hands were confident, fast and artistic. Foundation, concealer, blush, contour. She turned me toward her light ring and squinted. "You've got great cheekbones, Liam. You really don't know how pretty you are, do you?" I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't. My throat was tight. She moved on to mascara, then a touch of highlighter. When she uncapped a glossy red lipstick, I froze. "That's a bit much," I said. She didn't answer. She leaned in and applied it carefully. It was bold, feminine, unapologetic. She pulled back. "Now look." I turned, and the world stopped. It wasn't me. Or maybe it was a version of me I never knew existed. The girl in the mirror had my eyes, but softer, more vulnerable. Her lips were full and painted like seduction. Her cheeks glowed. Her posture was perfect. She looked like someone who could model for Victoria's brand. Someone who belonged. "Who is that?" I whispered. Victoria smiled. "Her name's up to you." I stared. "You're serious?" She nodded slowly. "Liam's great. But she pointed to the mirror. "She's stunning." I swallowed hard. "Victoria, I'm not. This isn't real. This is just for the shoot." She didn't respond. She just lifted the camera. "Pose." And I did. It felt like falling and flying at the same time. I shifted my weight, tilted my head, tried to channel what I thought models looked like. Victoria gave quiet instructions, her voice soft and encouraging. "Lift your chin, relax your eyes, arch your back a little." Click, click, click. Each flash from the camera felt like a heartbeat. Each pose was a confession. But underneath the thrill was something deeper. Fear. What if someone found out? What if these photos accidentally got uploaded somewhere? What if I liked this too much? That night, when the shoot was over, Victoria handed me a robe and started uploading the pictures. I hurried into the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror again. Half of the makeup had smudged from sweat. The lipstick was a little faded, but it was still me. Still her. I didn't want to take it off, but I did. The next few days were a blur. I kept expecting Victoria to say something, to bring it up, to tease me or tell me it had just been a joke. But she didn't. Instead, she casually brought home more clothes, left another makeup bag near the bathroom, asked for my opinion on a model's posture in a recent campaign. I pretended not to notice. But every night, after she fell asleep, I'd quietly slip into one of her silky robes. Just for a moment. Just to feel her again. It became a secret routine. Lip gloss. Heels. One of her wigs, even. I never meant for it to go further. But secrets have a way of growing, when you water them with desire. One evening, she said, "Hey, can you help me pick a look for tomorrow's shoot?" "Sure," I said casually. She laid out 3 outfits. "Actually want to try them on for me?" I looked at her. Her eyes weren't playful. They were testing me. "You already know my measurements are close to," she interrupted.
"Liam."
"Just try one." So I did. And then the second. And the third. By the end of the night, I was fully dressed with makeup, wig, and heels, strutting in front of her camera again. And she was smiling. She said, "You know, I've been thinking of rebranding. A new face. Fresh, bold. Not just pretty. Real." I didn't respond. I was too busy wondering if she meant me. But it couldn't last. One night, as I stood alone in our bedroom, fully dressed and watching myself move with elegance I didn't know I had, I heard the worst possible sound. The front door unlocking. Victoria wasn't supposed to be home for another hour. I panicked, scrambling for the zipper on the back of the dress, my nails, still coated in nude polish, failing to grip. I kicked off the heels. I tried to wipe the lipstick with a tissue, but I could still feel it, red, loud, defiant on my mouth. The door creaked open. "Liam," she called. I froze. Heart hammering, I turned to the mirror one last time. And I didn't see a guy in trouble. I saw someone finally coming alive. "Liam," Victoria called from the hallway again. "You home?" I was still standing in front of the mirror, makeup on, hair styled, heels on, the soft blue dress clinging to my body. Panic rushed in. My hands flew to the zipper again. Still stuck. The door to the bedroom opened, and Victoria stepped in. Her eyes landed on me, and she stopped. We both froze in place. No jokes. No teases. No excuses. Just silence. I couldn't breathe. I braced for anger. For disgust. For the end of everything. Instead, she whispered, "You're beautiful." I blinked. "What?" She stepped closer. "You were trying to hide this from me?" I didn't mean for it to go this far," I stammered. "It was just supposed to be a favor. A one-time thing. I don't know what's happening to me." Victoria reached out and gently touched my cheek, her thumb grazing the blush she'd once applied. "You're happening, Liam." Or maybe not Liam. I looked down, ashamed. "This isn't who I am."
"Isn't it?" she said.
"Because the girl standing in front of me looks more alive than I've ever seen you." She took my hand and led me to the couch. We sat, the silence heavy but not cold. She didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. Eventually, she said, "You want to be her, don't you?" "I don't know. Maybe. Sometimes. I feel like she's more real than I am." Victoria nodded. "I think you should meet her. For real. Not in secret. Not with shame. But in the light." I looked at her, startled. "You're not angry?" "Angry," she laughed softly. "Liam, you're stunning. You're magnetic in front of a camera. And honestly, my brand has never had someone like you." I stared at her, stunned. "What are you saying?" "I want to use you, her, as the new face of my launch campaign. No name, no background. Just a beautiful, mysterious woman." My heart jumped into my throat. "That's insane." She smirked. "That's marketing." A week later, I stood in a photo studio, her studio, dressed in the sleekest black jumpsuit I'd ever worn, hair perfectly styled in soft waves, nails gleaming. A new name had been scribbled on the model board in big, bold script.
"Leah."
Victoria winked. "Just for the campaign. If it doesn't feel right later, we drop it." But I needed something elegant. And honestly, Leah fits you better than Liam ever did. It should have felt ridiculous. But instead, it felt right. That day, I posed like never before. I gave the camera angles, attitude, flirtation. I gave it her. Victoria stood behind the lens, breathless, whispering, yes, after every shot. By the end of the day, her assistant Becca came up to me. "You're amazing. I thought you were just Victoria's roommate, but you're like a total pro." I forced a smile. "Thanks." She paused, then leaned in. "You're trans, right? Or just a drag queen?" I only ask because your bone structure is insane. The question hit me like a punch to the gut. I blinked. Just modeling. For now. Becca smiled. Well, whatever you are, you're working it, girl. The first teaser photo dropped 3 days later. Just one image, me in a gold dress, lips slightly parted, eyes smoky and mysterious. The caption was simple. Coming soon. The face of elegance. Hashtag Victoria Monet. Comments exploded within hours. Who is she? Finally, someone with presence. This woman is fire. I need that dress and her attitude. Why does she look so familiar? That last one made my blood run cold. Victoria sat beside me on the couch, refreshing the page. You've gone viral. People are going to find out, I whispered. She looked at me. So, what if they do? I hesitated. They'll laugh. Call me a freak. I'll lose everything. Victoria turned to me, eyes fierce. Or you'll finally be everything. The version of you that doesn't hide, doesn't apologize. My chest tightened. I'm scared, I admitted. She squeezed my hand. So was I when I launched my brand. But you don't get magic without risk. But magic came with a price. The next day, someone messaged me on Instagram. A private account. No followers. I know who you are. And I know what you're hiding. Attached, a screenshot of my high school photo. Me in a football jersey. Grinning. Masculine. Obvious. Then another photo, my modeling headshot. Lined up side by side. Let's see how long before the world sees too. I slammed my phone down. Victoria saw my face and rushed over. What happened? I showed her. Her expression darkened. I can handle this, she said. We'll make a statement. Spin it as bravery. Boldness. Being yourself in a world that doesn't get it. No, I said, panic in my voice. I can't go public like this. Not yet. I'll get destroyed. Victoria's jaw clenched. Then we shut it down. I stared at her. You'd give it all up? For me? She looked at me like it was the dumbest question she'd ever heard. Of course I would. But it was too late. The next morning, the photos were already circulating. Online blogs posted side-by-side comparisons. TikToks dissected my voice, my posture, my makeup. Model Leah exposed as a guy named Liam? Is this bravery or deception? Honestly, still hot either way. The hate poured in, but so did the admiration. Some comments crushed me. Freak. This is why you can't trust influencers. That's a man. Gross. But others stunned me. If Leah can live her truth, maybe I can too. I don't care what she was, she's gorgeous now. She's braver than I'll ever be. Victoria refused to let me hide. She sat me down in front of a camera. Say it, she said. Say what you feel. Be honest. Be her. And I did. I looked into the lens and whispered. My name is Liam, but lately I've been living as someone else. Someone who feels more me than I've ever known. Her name is Leah. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm not hiding anymore. The video went viral. It broke 1 million views in 2 days. That night, I lay in bed in one of Victoria's silky nightgowns, mascara smudged from crying, phone still buzzing with notifications. Victoria curled up next to me, brushing hair from my face. You okay? She asked softly. I nodded. Not sure who I am, but I think I'm ready to find out. She smiled. Then let's find her. Together. The world didn't end after the video went viral. The next day, I woke up to articles in fashion blogs, tweets with hashtags like #LeonFiltered and #BraveryandBeauty, and offers, actual offers, from modeling agencies, talk shows, and podcasts. It was surreal, terrifying, empowering. Victoria sat beside me, flipping through her tablet. Harper's wants you. They want Leah. They don't care who you used to be. I swallowed. You really think I can do this? Be her? She looked at me seriously. You already are. All that's left is letting the world catch up. A week later, I stood in front of a mirror at Victoria's boutique. The final look for the official launch. Satin red gown. long waves down my back, bold lips, confidence in every line of my silhouette. I barely recognized myself, and for once, that didn't scare me. The nameplate behind me glowed. LI for Victoria Monet. Victoria watched me from the doorway. Remember the first time you wore heels? I laughed. I couldn't even walk. I almost twisted my ankle. And now look at you. Her eyes softened. You're not playing dress up anymore. I nodded. I know. The launch party was packed. Lights, champagne, influencers, reporters. But all I could hear was my heartbeat until Victoria took my hand and whispered, "It's time." We walked onto the small stage together. The lights hit me, but this time I didn't flinch. Victoria introduced the line. Then she paused, looking my way. "And this," she said, "is Leah, the heart of the collection." The reason I remembered why I started designing in the first place. I took the mic, trembling. I didn't mean to become her, I began. But once I did, I realized she was always there, waiting. I just needed someone to show me it was okay to be beautiful, soft, real. There were a few gasps, but mostly smiles, applause. Afterward, strangers came up to me. "You made me cry. My kid needed this. You're so brave." Not everyone understood. My dad didn't speak to me for weeks. An old friend from college messaged just to say, "You're sick." But I wasn't alone. Victoria stood beside me at every step. She helped me get a new wardrobe, update my documents, where I was ready. No pressure, just love. And in time, Leah became more than a name. She became my truth. I remember the first morning I woke up, no makeup, just me, and looked in the mirror without panic. I saw her. Not a costume, not a lie, just Leah. And for the first time in my life, I smiled. I had just finished my second runway shoot as Leah when Victoria handed me her phone. "There's someone who wants to talk to you." I took it confused. "Hello." A deep, smooth voice spoke on the other end.
Leah.
Or should I say, the new face of bold femininity. Who is this? A friend? Or maybe a challenge? He chuckled. "I represent a brand that's interested. We don't just want you for a photo shoot. We want you for something bigger." I frowned. How much bigger? Ambassadorship. Global. But there's a catch. There's always a catch. You can't just be Leah on the runway. You'd need to be her everywhere.
Full-time.
No stepping out of the role. No half-living. My throat went dry. Live as Leah full-time? No switching back. No going back. Not just a model. Not just a muse. But the embodiment of their vision. Their icon. He continued, "The world is watching you, Leah. The next choice you make will define everything." I lowered the phone, heart thudding. Victoria was watching me carefully. What did he say? I looked at her, eyes wide, filled with fear and excitement. They want me, but not just for a shoot. For what, then? For everything. She didn't blink. "What do you want?" I opened my mouth, then hesitated. Because the truth was, I didn't know anymore. Leah had started as a secret.
A dare.
A role.
A mask.
But now she was the version of me that felt free. And maybe, just maybe, the version the world wanted. But was I ready to leave my old life behind? Could I? Would I?